morning, class. I am your teacher, Christine M. Alnas, and today I will be discussing about the psychoanalysis theory. Psychoanalysis, pioneered by Sigmund Freud, is a theory of the mind that emphasizes the unconscious mind's influence in our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It suggests that our early childhood experiences significantly shape our personalities and relationships. So, in this video, we will delve into the core tenets of psychoanalysis, exploring key concepts like the id, ego, and superego, defense mechanisms, and the psychosexual stages of development, demonstrating their relevance to understanding human behavior. Our objectives for today are to explain what is psychoanalysis, identify the 5 stages of psychosexual development, and the types of defense mechanisms, distinguish the key theories on psychoanalysis, analyze and discuss the psychodynamics of a person's personality in terms of id, ego, and superego. So let's start with Sigmund Freud. Let's have a short background of this person. He is very significant in the study psychoanalysis. So who is Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud. He is an Australian neurologist and is known as the father of psychoanalysis. Freud believed that people could be cured by making conscious their unconscious thoughts and motivations, thus gaining insight. The aim of psychoanalysis therapy is to release repressed emotions and experiences. Example, make the unconscious conscious. And lastly is to bring what exists at the unconscious or subconscious level up to consciousness. Psychoanalysis is a type of therapy that aims to release pent-up or repressed emotions and memories in order to lead the client to catharsis or healing. It is a theory of the mind and its direct connection to a personality or behavior. The basic premise of psychoanalysis is that the human mind has an unconscious state. It is a system of psychological theory and therapy investigating the interaction of conscious and unconscious elements in the mind. Freud believed that the most unconscious desire originates from childhood experiences that people have long forgotten or repressed. Our childhood has a great influence on our adult lives, shaping our personality. Freud developed a personality theory called psychosexual development of personality, which posits that at different stages of growth, the individual derives pleasure from different parts of the body, thus the term psychosexual relating to pleasure and the human body. So, as much as I only wanted to explain the psychodynamics of person's personality class, I would like to give it a try to explain the stages of psychosexual development of personality. So number 1 of the stages of psychosexual development of personality is the oral stage. So oral stage is manifest from birth to approximately 18 months. The child is totally dependent on others to provide for his or her needs. The pleasure is derived from the use of mouth and activities such as sucking, chewing, and biting. Personality developed in this stage is dependence. Number 2 is the anal stage. This begins at 18 months and lasts until 3 years when the child is being toilet trained. The child seeks pleasure from the anus, for example, withholding and expelling feces. The personality developed in these stages independence, self-control, orderliness, and sense of accomplishment. 3 is the phallic stage. It is 3 to 6 years of age. During this stage, the child develops attraction to the parents of the opposite sex and sees a jealous and rivalrous relationship with his or her parents of the same sex. This is what Freud termed as Oedipus complex for boys and the Electra complex for girls. They see their parents as their treats. Number 4 is the latent stage. 6 to 12 years of age. Personality traits developed in this stage are associated with social skills and interactions. Pleasure is gained through same-sex peer or friendship. Last but not the least, number 5, the genital stage. 12 years of age onward or from puberty to adulthood. 6. Marriage, partner, preparation for adult life. The personality developed in this stage is sexual maturity. And those are the 5 stages of psychosexual development of personality. What are those 5 again? We have the oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, latent stage, and genital stage. Now that we are done with the 5 stages of psychosexual personality development, let's dive into psychodynamics of a person's personality. So Freud used the id, ego, and superego to try to explain how the mind functions and how a personality is shaped. So first, let's define what is id. What is id? So first, let's define what is id. So id is the one who occupies the unconscious level, the primitive and instinctive component of personality. It is the immature component of personality. It only seeks pleasure and demands gratification. When the id has a desire for something, that desire needs to be satisfied at once. It does not take reality into account as it only demands what it wants without reason or logic. So, id is known as the one who operates on the pleasure principle, and strives for all urges to be met immediately. Id is the selfish side and is the one who solely cares about themselves and no one else. The personality or the attitude of the id is the lustful, impulsive, and ignores consequences. For example, like hunger, tears, going to the bathroom. Next is the ego. Resides in the conscious and preconscious level of the mind. The ego is the moderator between the id and the superego. It operates on the reality principle, tries to satisfy id but in accordance with the real world. It considers social realities, norms, etiquette, rules, and customs when it makes a decision on how to behave. It is considered as the center of logic and reasoning. Ego also is the decision maker. It makes the decisions that dictate behavior. And last is the superego. Superego resides in all 3 levels of the mind. It operates the moral principle. The superego is the portion of the mind in which morality and higher principle reside, encouraging us to act in socially and morally acceptable ways. It is our morals, ethics, and social aspect of personality. It is considered as a person's conscience. It guides us what is right and what is wrong. It is also responsible for society's rule of behavior. Superego feels guilty if rules are disobeyed. Based on the morality principle, must follow moral standards and rules, and breaking them causes guilt.
The concept of id, ego, and superego come from Sigmund Freud's theory of personality. These 3 components represent different aspects of the human psyche and work together to shape behavior. Here's an example of how they might play out in a situation. You are walking down the street and see a delicious looking piece of cake on a table outside a cafe. Id, or your instincts and desires. I want that cake now, it's right there and I'm hungry, just take it. The id is impulsive and focused only on satisfying basic desires. On the other hand, the superego, the moral standards and conscience, stealing that cake would be wrong. It's dishonest and unfair to the person who owns it. I should be honest and resist the temptation. The superego urges you to follow ethical and moral principles. You, as the ego, the reality and reasoning, says that I really want that cake but it belongs to someone else. I could go buy my own cake later, and it's better not to steal. The ego is realistic and mediates between the id's desires and the practicalities of the real world. In this scenario, the id wants instant gratification without considering consequences. The ego tries to find a compromise by acknowledging the desire for cake but thinking about the consequences, like stealing. Finally, the superego pushes for more moral behavior, encouraging you to do what's right and avoid taking the cake. These three parts of the psyche often interact in complex ways, sometimes causing internal conflict as they strive to influence behavior.
Now that we are done with the psychodynamics of a person's personality in terms of id, ego, and superego, let's move on to the types of defense mechanism. These are the different types of mechanism. We have repression, denial, projection, displacement, regression, and sublimation.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to tackle the psychoanalysis developed by Sigmund Freud. Have you ever wondered why you react the way you do to a certain situation? Even when it doesn't seem to make sense? Psychoanalysis, a theory developed by Sigmund Freud, helps us understand these reactions by exploring the unconscious mind. Freud believed that much of our behavior is shaped by unconscious thoughts and past experiences, especially from the childhood that we are not fully aware of. In this video, I'll explain how psychoanalysis can help us uncover the hidden influences and use that understanding to improve our emotional well-being and relationships. Sigmund Freud's groundbreaking work on the unconscious mind, including dream analysis, the concept of psychosexual development, and the identification of defense mechanisms, established psychoanalysis as a major school of thought in psychology, and significantly impacted our understanding of the human psyche. His emphasis on the unconscious continues to influence psychological theory and practice. The iceberg analogy. The iceberg analogy is a common way to illustrate the relationship between the unconscious and unconscious mind. The tip of the icebergs, visible above the water, represents the conscious mind, our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions that are we aware of. The much larger portion of the iceberg, hidden beneath the water, represents the unconscious mind, a vast reservoir of thoughts, feelings, memories, and desires that are outside of our immediate awareness but significantly influence our behavior. And now, I will discuss to you how psychoanalysis has shaped the human psyche in its past and its impact on our various fields. Psychoanalysis, pioneered by Sigmund Freud, revolutionized our understanding of the human mind by emphasizing the unconscious. It posits that our thoughts, feelings, and behavior are significantly influenced by unconscious drives and conflicts. This perspective has profoundly impacts various fields. 1. The psychoanalysis. Psychology. Psychoanalysis laid the foundation for many therapeutic approaches, including psychodynamic therapy, which focusing on exploring unconscious patterns and resolving conflicts. It also contributed to the development of other psychological schools of thought. The The id, ego, and superego are three interacting structures of the psyche. The id represents primal extends the ego mediates between the id and the external world, and the superego represents internalized moral standards. Their interplay shapes our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Conflicts between the three structures can lead to psychological distress. Now, I will be tackling the Freud's legacy. Freud proposed that a significant part of our mental life operates unconsciously, influencing our thoughts, feelings, and actions. He believed that many of our behaviors are driven by unconscious motivations and conflicts, often stemming from repressed childhood experiences. And now, I will be explaining to you the three structures of psyche, which is the id, ego, and superego, and their rules in shaping our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Id is the primitive instinctual part of the personality operating on the pleasure principle. It seeks immediate gratifications of needs and desires. Ego is the rational, mediating part of the personality operating on the reality principle. It strives to satisfy the id's demands in realistic and socially acceptable ways. The superego is the moral component of the personality, representing internalized societal and parental standards. It strives for perfection and emphasizes guilt or shame when rules are violated. Dreams are significant because they provide a window into the unconscious mind, offering clues to hidden desires, conflicts, and unresolved issues that influence our waking behavior. Dream analysis, while subjective, can help uncover these underlying meanings. While dream interpretation is complex and subjective, understanding the basic principles of dream analysis can provide valuable insights into one's own psychological processes. Dreams often use symbolism, and understanding these symbols is key to interpretation. And now I will discuss to you the dreams as windows. Freud considered dreams a royal road to the unconscious, believing they offer valuable insights into hidden desires, fears, and conflicts. Dream analysis involves interpreting the manifest content or the actual dream events to uncover the latent content, the underlying unconscious meaning. While the interpretation of dreams is subjective, the process can reveal unconscious material that influences waking life. Psychoanalysis has profoundly impacted various fields, including psychology, literature, art, sociology, anthropology, and medicine, by highlighting the role of the unconscious in shaping human behavior and experience.
Here we have a concept of psychoanalysis. First, we have unconscious influence. Unconscious thoughts, feelings, and memories significantly impact behavior and decision making. Under unconscious influence, we have Freudian slip, dream analysis, and slip of the tongue. The second one in the concept of psychoanalysis, we have childhood experience. Childhood experiences and early life events shape personality, relationships, and adult behaviors. Under childhood experiences, we have here Oedipus conflicts, attachment issues, repetition compulsions. On Oedipus conflicts, for example, Tom, age 5, becomes jealous when his father plays with his sister. So it means here the unconscious desire for parental attention. So all of us get jealous. But the second one is attachment issues. Racial struggles with intimacy due to neglectful parenting. So early relationship shapes adult attachment styles. Like we still need their help. The third one is repetition compulsion. James repeatedly enters abusive relationships, reenacting childhood trauma. This is unconscious attempt to resolve past conflicts. So James keeps on having those even though it's hurting him. One still in concept of psychoanalysis. We have defense mechanism. Defense mechanism, like people employ unconscious coping strategies like repression, denial, and projection to manage stress and anxiety. First, we have repression or repression. James stress about the upcoming exams, forget his study materials. This is an unconscious avoidance, like he's been stressed because of not having his materials in his upcoming exams. Second one is denial. Emily caught cheating, claims she didn't cheat. Refusal to acknowledge reality. That is bad. Don't do that, class, okay? Third one is projection. Michael accuses his friend of being jealous. So while secretly feeling jealous himself, or attributing one's own feelings to others. So we have here being undenial of his own feelings, being jealous of someone, but referring to others. We have the fourth one, symbolism and metaphor. Symbols, dreams, and myth reveals unconscious desires and conflict. We have here phallic symbols. A novel features a character's fascination with swords, symbolizing unconscious desires. This is a symbolic representation. The second one is mother archetype. A painting depicts a nurturing figure, representing the artist's unconscious maternal longing. This is a universal symbolic representation. Dream symbols. A snake in a dream represents transformation or fear, depending on personal association. Personal symbolic meaning, that is what we have. First, we have here Freudian slip. We have here an example of Freudian slip. So, we have here Sarah. Sarah means to say I love you, but instead she says I hate you instead. Reveal unconscious feelings, like here unintentional revelation. Okay, the second one is dream analysis. Dream analysis is David recurring dreams about falling in love. Shut up. The third one is slip of the tongue. We have here a politician says we will not raise taxes, but means we will raise taxes. Unconscious truth. Like they're just giving us false hope or lies. First, we have here Freudian slip. We have here an example of children. So, we have here Sarah. Sarah means to say I love you, but instead she says I hate you instead. Reveal unconscious feelings, like here unintentional revelation.
So good morning class. Today we're going to tackle about psychoanalysis. So before I start my discussion, I have here a relevant quote or a modern example of psychoanalysis in practice. Sigmund Freud once said, "Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways." The profound statement captures the essence of psychoanalysis, a field of dedicated to exploring the hidden depths of the human mind. Psychoanalysis pioneered by Freud in the late 19th century. Again, who's the pioneer of psychoanalysis? That's right, it's Freud, or we call him Sigmund Freud. Is a psychological theory and therapeutic method that delves into the unconscious mind. It emphasizes the influence of early childhood experiences and unresolved conflicts on behavior and mental health. Over time, psychoanalysis has shaped our understanding of human behavior, extending its relevance to fields like therapy, literature, and arts. These discussions aims to explore how psychoanalysis provides invaluable insight into the unconscious mind, the role of childhood development, and their profound impact on human behavior. First, psychoanalysis developed by Sigmund Freud. Who again developed the psychoanalysis? That's right, Sigmund Freud developed the psychoanalysis. Revolutionized the study of the mind, emphasizing the unconscious as a driving force behind human behavior. Central to Freud's theory are the concepts of the id, ego, and superego. What are the concepts of Sigmund Freud theory again? That's right. We have three, which is the id, ego, and the superego, which govern our instincts, reasons, and morality respectively. He also introduced the psychosexual stages, outlining the childhood experiences, shape personality. Beyond Freud, Carl Jung expanded psychoanalysis with ideas on the collective, unconscious, and archetypes. While Alfred Adler emphasized individual psychology in the role of social influence. Again, who expanded the psychoanalysis with his ideas on the collective and unconscious and archetypes? That's right, it's Carl Jung. Last question. Who emphasized the individual psychology in the role of the social influence? That's right, it's Alfred Adler. And therapy, again, what is it? That's right, therapy. Psychoanalysis uses the techniques like free association, where patterns speak freely to uncover unconscious thoughts, dream analysis to interpret hidden desires, and transference to understand emotional projections. Beyond clinical settings, psychoanalysis has influenced the interpretation of literature and art, helping analyze complex characters and themes. Moreover, it has shaped modern psychology, providing foundational ideas for cognitive behavioral therapy and other approaches that focus on thoughts and emotion. Freud's theories have faced criticism of lacking scientific rigor and overemphasizing sexuality. Despite this, psychoanalysis has evolved, integrating new findings from neuroscience and psychology. While some of Freud's ideas are outdated, his emphasis on the unconscious and early experiences remains relevant, influencing modern mental health practices and therapies. Today, psychoanalysis continues to adapt, bridging its historical roots with contemporary psychological advancements. We have here an example of psychoanalysis. Consider a hypothetical case of a patient named Anna who experiences chronic anxiety. Through psychoanalytic therapy, it's revealed that Anna's anxiety stems from unresolved childhood trauma, especially feelings of abandon after her parents' divorce. Techniques like free association and dream analysis, like I mentioned earlier, uncover repressed emotions, allowing her to confront and process the experience she has. This case highlights the psychoanalytic principle that unconscious conflicts often drive present day issues. Psychoanalysis offers insight into modern societal behaviors. For example, individuals struggling with the workaholism and perfectionism might unconsciously seek approval they lack in childhood. Similarly, unresolved childhood trauma can manifest as commitment issues or difficulty maintaining healthy relationships. By addressing these unconscious patterns, psychoanalysis provides a framework for understanding how past experiences shape current behavior. Cultural norms and ethical consideration influence psychoanalytic practice. For instance, in collectivist societies, therapists must respect familial and societal values while addressing individual conflicts. Ethical concerns such as maintaining boundaries during concerns, such as boundaries during maintaining boundaries during transference or ensuring informed consent are central psychoanalytic therapy. By adapting the cultural context in adhering ethical standards, psychoanalysis remains relevant and sensitive approach to therapy. Before I end this lesson, I'm going to summarize what I said earlier. Psychoanalysis, despite facing critics over the scientific validity and focus on sexuality, remains a pivotal framework. Pivotal framework for understanding the complexities of the human psyche. Its exploration of the unconscious early experiences and internal context continues to influence psychology and therapy. Historically, psychoanalysis provides a groundbreaking approach to mental health, introducing concepts that shape modern psychology. Today, its principles are still applied in therapy, literature, and art, providing its enduring relevance in addressing both personal and societal challenges. As the science advances with tools like neuroscience and AI, or we call it artificial intelligence, psychoanalysis faces the exciting challenge of evolving alongside these innovations. How will its focus on the unconscious and emotional depth integrate with the precision of modern technologies. The future of psychoanalysis lies in bridging its rich legacy with the cutting edge tools of today. So that's my lesson for today. Thank you, class, and goodbye. Goodbye. See you next time.